Hello everyone, welcome to Sable, and this is what we built for the Bitcoin track in the Refined Hackathon. So this is a platform where that encourage more use of Bitcoin on starknet blockchain. So looking at the Refined Hackathon about the suggested hacker ideas in the Bitcoin track, we actually built everything and we'll be taking everything gradually in this demo, starting with the cross-chain bridge UI. So we actually built a bridge that allows users to actually bridge from any of their assets from different blockchain and different assets as long as it's supported by near intent. The technology stack we use here was near intent, so it will allow them to bridge from any blockchain, any asset to starknet, and the destination asset will be starknet. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that is supported by the only asset that is supported by near intent. So when they receive the starknet, they can now swap it to any of their recipient assets. To here we are using RABTC to do most of all the stuff here. So when they receive the stack, they can actually swap it to any of their assets. So now let's try with the bridging in. So I will be starting with Solana, but when we're bridging out, we'll be bridging to Bitcoin. So to just give you a peek of how we can use multiple blockchain here. So let me start with Solana, and the token I'm going with is let me swap this and say sending $10, and I will input my Solana address. In case the transaction fails, it will refund me. Okay, then this is how much I will receive. Oh, this is $8. Let it get the quote again. Okay, this is how much I will. Why is it keep editing to? Okay, you know what? Let me just increase it to $15. Okay, this is how much I will be receiving. So let me bridge to starknet. Okay, as you can see right now, it gives me a wallet address that I have to send to. And when I send it processes it and I get stacked to this my stack balance. Let's take note of how much is in my starknet right now, $8. So let me copy this address and go to my Phantom. Okay, I'm already in my Phantom. Now I have to send exactly this amount, 0.1665017. Okay, this has been sent. To confirm it very soon. Okay, it just confirmed that it has received the token. Now it's now processing it to make sure that the starknet token comes to my wallet. So let's give it a moment. Boom, stack has been received in starknet. So let me kind of move around and see if this will refresh. Oh, boom, you can see it here. The $15 plus the $8 that was there before, that should be $23. And now I can swap it to any asset on starknet I want to, maybe the right Bitcoin, which is what we'll be using it mostly here, or any other one of them. So that's basically how the bridge in works, and it's very fast. All this completed around 30 seconds. Now let's bridge out. Now I will be trying to bridge out to Bitcoin blockchain. So let me try with 300 stack. That should be, don't know yet, but let's select the Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin token. Let me get my Bitcoin address. Also, technically, I have some funds here. I just got my ads. Okay, come back here. Kenan is getting the quote. Okay, that should be around $10. Let me increase it to like 350. It will be equivalent to like our bridge. Okay, this is okay, $14 to $13, but they will take some fee, Bitcoin. So we should be receiving around, let's say, closely 10 or 9. So we already have $6.40 there. So that's it. So now we bridge out. We'll have to confirm the transaction here so that our wallet will now send the token to the address. It's kind of timed out. Okay, just retried it. And now I confirm so that it will send the stack to the near intent address. Okay, that has been sent. Sorry to confirm it. Okay, it has been confirmed on starknet. So this will actually take time for it to reach Bitcoin address. So I will pause this video. So when it arrives, I will show you my wallet. So but for now, because Bitcoin actually takes time to confirm transactions. Oh, I don't think we have to wait that long, but you can see the pending transaction here already. That is about to send. So let's go to mempool. I was expecting it to convert it to USD, but I didn't see it here. So, but the transaction went through, just that it's waiting to is pending to actually confirm. And that's all for the bridge section. And now we'll be going over to the votes, which actually represent this. We'll be treating two things here in the vote. The Bitcoin yield vote, we have a lot of the tokenized Bitcoin yield representation. We have that, a vote corrector and a manager. We have a contract about that on chain. So you see that on our GitHub, and a leverage looping for BTC. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4. That was what we'll be treating on vote. Yeah, and that's what we'll be treating on vote next section now. So here now when you vote. So hello everyone. So here in votes, we actually created 6 active votes, each with different strategy to help you get more yield on your BTC, and all of them carry different risks depending on the strategy, and they have different names. But we're going to start with this, and okay, the total average API from here is 3.9, but we're going to start with Sentinel. So Sentinel is the simplest here. It's the risk is little because it's just a basic lending strategy. You just lend to Vessel Prime, as you can see here. But that's not only it. You also earn Bitfire starknet reward. Yeah, it also qualifies for this part of hackathon, which is BTC staking interface. We actually built that here, but it's also part of our yield strategy on this stake, where you can stake your wrapped Bitcoin and earn starknet in return. So you get two things here, APY and stack token. So I'll be trying to deposit. So I'll be going with let's try $50. Okay, $51. So okay, as you can see here, we are trying to deposit $50 worth of this to Vessel Prime pool, or each will our corrector and our vote system will actually mint a representation of your position, which you can see here with CC vote Sentinel, proving that your address has a 0.007 BTC position of this on Vessel Prime, which you can actually send to anyone or swap, but we didn't create any pool for it because it's not tradable right now. But this is a representation of your position, but it can actually be tradable once it's created, the pool is created. So I'll confirm this transaction right now, and our BTC is taken, and we'll get a representation token. Okay, I think that's done. I can view it on Voyager. And also, okay, you can see our representation token here that we deposited in Sentinel. I can actually send this to anyone, but currently it has no pool for it to be traded. So, well, it actually qualifies this part of the hackathon, a tokenized BTC yield representation. And we have also showed for BTC yield votes, which you are already doing now, starting with the Sentinel. We'll get to the leverage, and this vote creator and manager system is what helps us deploy these funds to those strategies, and also help us mint this tokenized BTC yield representation. So we'll be taking it gradually. So Voyager. Okay, we are now on Voyager. I'm on Invent. As you can see, this mainnet Oreo. So this is where I transferred the token. Transaction was, I confirmed it, and it was deposited to our pool for this Sentinel pool. And in this Sentinel pool, it was now transfer approved. And this modified position is where it was deployed to Vessel. Updated, it was now updated, approved, and deposit was confirmed. So everything about this is actually confirmed. Then we tend to withdraw. Let me just give this a refresh. Okay, here is my position. You can see this is my tokenized representation of my position in this pool. This is the value, the PY. All this queries from Vessel pool. Also our equity here. It does all actually, because nothing complex about this one. So now we withdraw, and our now our tokenized representation of this position will now be bonds, and we'll get back our funds, because if you actually sent it out, you can actually withdraw. So you have to have equivalent amount of the token before you can withdraw. So just place withdrawal now. Okay, finally it has been withdrawn, and we can view the transaction of Voyager, but that will be stressful now. Go to next pool. Okay, which is Citadel. As you can see, we don't have our position anymore, our tokenized representation of fee. This is from an old pool that we're using for testing. So now we go to Citadel. So for Citadel, the strategy is actually a bit simple too. So basically how it works is you deposit your WBTC. It is staked on Ender to get XWBTC, and the XWrap Bitcoin is now deployed on Vessel, and you earn staking yield at both sides, and also earn the BitFi reward. So that's basically it. As you can see, the APY is fluctuating. You can get up to 3 sometimes. It gets down, but 2, as you can see, is the base actually in the last 30 days. So still something. So okay, let's try again. Around $50. we now deposit. Okay, we'll be getting an equivalent for the tokenized representation for this pool. Okay, that's been approved, and now we're going to Voyager to actually check it out. Okay, Voyager start now. So as you can see, here is me transferring, confirming transaction, and this is view deposits. We get our XWBTC, which is also deposited again into version to get our funds. So everything is actually executed here, and now we withdraw. Okay, let me give this a refresh. Okay, here is our equivalent of our position, a representation of our position on the Citadel votes. Okay, here is our position. Actually, nothing new. This is our collateral with XBCC, and this is our net equity, and this is our total equity. Actually, this is about it. So just go straight to withdrawal. Okay, I'll just approve. Our this thing will be bought, and we'll get back our token. Okay, done. I'm having issue getting the transaction from Voyager, but that could be my balance is back to $100. We can actually check it from activity, and this is it. Okay, actually this is not it. This is the first approval. Okay, this is me redeeming. So that's all for Citadel. Now we'll go to the next vote. Which the next vote will be Trident with 3.79 APY. Okay, here in Trident, here's where we get our first looping strategy, which is one of the hacker idea here. A leverage looping for BTC. So here was where we get the first strategy. So how it basically works is that you supply your wrapped Bitcoin. It's a stake on Endo. We get X wrapped Bitcoin. The X wrapped Bitcoin is deposited on Visu, just like we did in Citadel. But now we will now borrow another wrapped BTC, restake it on restake the borrowed WTC, and repeat it 3 times to actually amplify yield. So actually it's a bit fluctuating. You can see it can get up to 6% APY at best, sometimes depending on market. So but it's still something. So it actually fluctuates. So let's try it out. The minimum is about $30, but we'll still use our $51. So let's see how it works. Okay, we'll confirm. Okay, transaction gone through. Oh, we actually made double transaction. So that should be 2 double approve, but we'll check one. Okay, yeah, they double approve. So let's check it on Verger. Yeah, as you can see here, 52 53 events, us transferring, approving, staking, getting an X transfer again, update, staking on Endo, getting an XWBTC modified position, and it goes on. We have about 6 of them, but every of the strategy actually completed. As you can see, there is still more because it has to do this 3 times to get a recursive BTC staking. So that's all for that. And let me refresh this while we check our balance. So here you can see we got about double of our trident here. These are an old votes that we don't use anymore. So that's 0.014. That's our total position actually. Okay, so here's our position. With this our YVBTC representation of our this. So yeah, because this is a looping strategy, so you get more views on them. So here is the health factor of our position right now. So if this health factor reaches 1, we'll get liquidated. So the target here is 2.9x for effective leverage, but we are at 2.16. So but we'll get there actually. So the staking loop here was 6 because we actually did it double. We first approved this first transaction on second transaction, which was my mistake actually. So that will make it 6. So this is our total collateral for XBTC. But one thing I want to say is that SWBTC, it's not tradable. It's more like an NFT, and you have to wait 7 days to get it back. So we tend to use a flash loan to repay it back when we are doing withdrawal to get it back. So now let's go to withdrawal. Okay, this is a breakdown of the strategy APY, and that's also. Let's go to withdrawal and get back our token. Okay, let me confirm the transaction. Okay, I've gotten back our phone. If I give it a refresh, our position will be nowhere. Obviously, we don't have any position here any longer. So let's go to the next vote. Okay, the next vote will be data neutral. So let's get to it. Okay, for delta neutral, the strategy is a bit simple actually. So how it works is we deposit Bitcoin, we supply the Bitcoin to Visa R7, we borrow USDT at a 50 liquidation TVM. Then we deploy those USDC to Visa Prime. Then we earn spread between the USDC and our borrow cost. So that's basically it, and other we get about 3.66% in APY. So let's actually try it out to 0. Okay, the minimum is 20, so that was 0.007. We'll check. Approve the transaction. Okay, this one has gone through. This is also approving it. We can check it on Voyager. We'll look at our position. The health factor is actually okay, 1.90. Okay, these are our debt for $25, and this is the net value, actually the total equity. So, and these are collateral actually to borrow that. So we can actually check the transaction on chain, but that will be wasting a whole lot of time. So, but this actually proceed because it was queried on chain. So what we do now is withdraw. I didn't actually put a max button here. Oh, my wallet is not connected, officer. Let me refresh a bit again. Okay, it's get connected. Everything is still there. Okay. Now we withdraw. Okay. Okay, withdrawal is complete. You can see redeeming for YVBTC Delta Neutral. And that's all for Delta Neutral here. Actually, refresh will clear this. So now let's go to the next vote. That should be, I've forgotten. Oh, so the next would be Tubo. It's another loop strategy. Okay, for Lupo, Tubo, it's another USD leverage. Okay, no, this is a USD. The other one was a BTC recursive staking loop. So here is for USDC. So how it actually works is you deposit wrapped Bitcoin, supply it to Vessel, borrow USDT, swap it to WTC on Anvil, resupply the BTC, complete, then repeat it 3 times for leverage exposure. And it's a high risk strategy, but it gives us a 5% APY. So let's try it with still 0.007 deposit. We'll approve the transaction. Okay, approve transaction. Oh, this is approving it. Getting our YBBTC is supposed to be for Tubo. I don't care. It's too long here. So here's our YBTC share. Okay, let me go back a bit. Here is it for Tubo. And okay, here is our health factor and effective leverage. The target is 2.19. Here is the debt we have actually, and the leverage completed 3. So here's the total equity we actually have and the WTC collateral. So that's it all here, and at the end we're going to get 5.1 BTC. Okay, there's a battle YV BTC token, and that's it. Now we withdraw. Okay, I approve transaction. Okay, so I just redeem. Let's withdraw. Position should be yeah. So now is our last strategy. Our last vote is the Apex votes, and that's a kind of our best strategy because it's the one with the highest APY. So let's get to it. As you can see, it has about 6.24%, and it's a high risk strategy. So that's what we'll be. Okay, so we are at the Apex page, and here's how it works. We deposit WBTC, but it's splitted in 3 ways. 40% will be used to be deposit to do a leverage lending on the on Vessel, where we kind of lend, borrow, and borrow, lend again 3 times. Then 35% will be put in a concentrated liquidity pool in Ecubo, and 25% will be added in Endo, and we use flash loan when we want to withdraw so that it can be easier for the users. So let me check my balance and see if we can try it out, because the minimum, okay, $100. So let me check if we can actually do that. Okay, this should actually do it. So that would be max of okay, we're not connected. Let me connect. Okay, this should be max in my balance deposit. Okay, I'll confirm transaction. Okay, you can see we've just approved the transaction went through. This is our share of value, the growth factor, the collateral, USD debt, the net value currently, the leverage group, which actually occurred on Vesu. That's one of the strategy. Oh, and that's all about that. And we'll withdraw. And that will wrap everything we just did on vote page right now. Okay, we'll approve transaction. Okay, that's been redeemed. And this wraps up everything we are doing on vote page. So when looking at the hackathon ideas of what to build, we can see we have already treated cross bridge, we have already treated Bitcoin yield, tokenized BTC representation, just like we have YV BTC Apex, vote corrector manager system. That's what actually handles all the strategy for us. You can see that when you check the transactions on Voyager, and I will drop my wallet on the GitHub so you can actually confirm on these transactions that I actually made. The leverage looping, we have about 3 of that a looping strategy on our 6 votes. So what we'll be treating next is this BTC staking interface, which states according to the tract, I think here, stake wrapped BTC and NStack. So that will be what we'll be checking now. So when we'll go to the stake page where you can stake your wrapped ETH and get starknet. And we have 2 platforms that actually do that, and that's what we are going to test here. Okay, right here, these are the 2 platforms, 2 different nodes. So they have this Bitfi season campaign where you can stake your BTC and starknet. Actually, we intended to actually even get a complex strategy on this on vote where you stake your BTC and it is swapped to starknet, and the starknet starknet token, and the starknet token is actually staked for validator rewards, something like that. But that will be if we win the bounty, we'll be trying that out now. So for that, okay, see how it works. You deposit WBTC on Visa Prime, receive VWBTC, and you earn APY from the borrower's interest. So that's basically it. And let's try it out. Okay, I actually have balance of it here. Okay, we'll get to that, but yeah, V something like that. So let's take it. As you can see, we'll get a Vesura BTC, which we can actually trade if we want, while our position is wrapped there. Okay, now you can see wrapped Vesu BTC and our normal BTC. So these are our position, APY and stuff. So that's basically it. Nothing really special. And now we can unstake, max everything, and unstake. So I just approve transaction. Okay, I think that's all, but I still have some balance here. I've redrawn it and still have some balance here. And maybe later we'll get that out. And now we'll go to the second one. This for Visa Prime. Okay, the next one is VCR7X, whatever they call it. Okay, I still have some balance from previous trial here, previous testing. So, but here we are actually doing the most. So we're going to try it again. So the strategy here, it's same as the other one. Deposit BTC, receive an equivalent version of it. Then you earn the API from borrower's interest and also stack. So that's it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Now confirm. Okay, it's actually staked. You can see our position here. Can even refresh it to get the position. Okay, you can see $51 and all this. So, and this is the API you'll be earning. So, all we just do now is stake, confirm transaction. Okay, it has been on stake. You can see our balance is back to $100. And this needs a refreshing. So now we're done with the stake page. Now we're going to the privacy, which is one of the most critical parts of this platform and one of the most emphasizing parts in this hackathon. So as you can see, okay, we have completed everything on the votes, tokenize, build representation, BTC yield votes. We did the vote creator system. You can see that on general looping strategy. We already have that. We have already built for the infrastructure, which is the bridge UI. So now it's remaining privacy and BTC primitive, which we have already checked out on the staking remaining dollar cost averaging and CDP. We'll get to that. But the main priority now is the private BTC DeFi. If you can trade BTC without revealing amount, borrow stables against, build yield on BTC, and build yield on stables. So we are actually going to do all that here. So and I will be taking it gradually. So now let's go to the privacy page. Okay, for privacy page now, we have privacy lending, privacy yield, privacy stables, and privacy swap. And it's built in a Tornado Cash kind of system transactions. And we use Clock System Zero Knowledge Proof for withdrawal. So you can link depositor and withdrawal, but it's more private than that, and I will get to that. So I'll try my best to actually explain it gradually. So starting with lending, we actually used our existing votes from votes, which is the simplest one, which is Sentinel, which just is basically lending your wrapped Bitcoin to Vesu Prime. You can just like that, you earn APIs on it and also earn starknet token. So that's basically it. But how it works here is that the deposit amounts are fixed, as you can see here, 0.002 BTC, 0.040. So that's how it actually works. So everything is actually fixed. That way it's a bit indistinguishable. And before, once you first deposit it in a shielded pool. So this amount, I'm going to send it to a pool, private pool where everything are like actually bashed together. So that way it's indistinguishable, because before the deposits are being deployed to the lending protocol, it has to be batched into 3. Given that if I deposit now, it had 2 other deposits have to be made, and they will now be batched to be deposited at the same time in the pool. And you might ask, how is the APY calculated? That's a very good question. So for each batch of 3 that it is deposited into this pool, it has a batch ID of when it was actually deposited attached to those deposits. So once they want to withdraw, the pool actually makes a calculation from the time it was deposited to the point when that particular person wants to withdraw to actually determine how much yield the position has actually made before it makes that withdrawal for that particular person. So, but in practical, will actually explain this better. So let me start with shielding 0.02 now. So what it actually means is that I'm sending this 0.02 to a particular shielded pool where you can actually distinguish who has which deposit. So you actually see me sending it to there. But once it enters there, you can actually distinguish it. Okay, so we're doing some outside transaction. You have to accept the risks and approve the transaction, confirm. So I've approved the transaction. Now it's waiting for approval confirmation. Now is now depositing to the shielded pool. Okay, now you can see one deposit waiting for batch deployment. So, but it has to be 3 before it can be deployed. So my yield hasn't even been I'm sorry, my lending, my wrapped Bitcoin hasn't been lended or deposited to actually lend to borrowers. So this has to be completed into trade. In a normal scenario, the person has to wait till it is completed. But I will be the one actually making the trade deposit here. So let me share another one. You don't need to. Oh, let me actually try. I will reject and try again because I need to get that note. Okay. Okay, now it's waiting for approval and now it's depositing to the pool. Okay, the transaction actually failed, so we try again. So I had to refresh because there's a timing issue with the wallet, so let's shoot again. Actually, here is one of my deposits and it's getting it as one of your notes because I downloaded the commitment details. So let's wait and approve this one. Okay, waiting for approval. Depositing to shielded pool. Oh, there's an RPC problem. Let me fix that. Well, looking at the error, it's not an RPC problem. It's the layer like gas, starknet gas. So let me actually find it and continue. I will pause this video. So let me find them with stack. So it has been funded. So let's try again. Oh, sorry, let's refresh first. Okay. And now it's waiting for approval. Okay, it went through this time. So I have to download the JSON file, confirm that I've saved the done, give it a refresh, and it will detect two of my notes. That is two deposits that I've actually made. The notes are what I will be using to actually place withdrawal. So, and you might be asking, how does the relayer actually reimburse themselves from the fees they use to actually place the positions? That is actually based on when they are placing withdrawal, they pay back those fees that the layer actually used to make those deposits. So kind of right now doesn't have, so I have to fund it. As you can see now, it's saying two deposits are waiting for batch deployment. So once the three deposits is complete, all of them are batched together. That should be 0.066, and the relayer actually lends those funds to Vesu, thereby earning yields. No one can actually trace back it to the depositor who actually has the 0.02, who actually, because all of them are actually batched in a shielded pool and deployed, and you can actually tell who has who. So, and so now let me make the third deposit. Okay, approving. It's not depositing. Okay, it has deposited. We download our JSON file, confirm that we have saved it, done, refresh. Then immediately it has completed. The relayer has already deposited all those three deposits into the lending pool. So we'll go on chain to track how all this thing went through right now. So as you can see right now, wait a sec. As you can see, it says all deposit has been deployed to the vault, and that's basically what happened. Once it's completed, it's batch. So the total deposit was made that was made into the pool was 0.006. And if you trace it back to the deposit pool, all you see is people making deposit of 0.002, and you can't actually pinpoint who has who because the denomination is actually fixed. So in a real scenario, if this platform is popular, you will be also be seeing multiple platform like 0.040 multiple deposit bashed together. And the best part of it is that all these are going to a particular pool, are going to a particular vote, and when they go to this particular vote, they tend to accumulate in. So assuming like in a day, a vote holds the votes now hold like about 1 BTC worth of position, is holding the position of everybody, and you can't actually pinpoint who holds which person's position in that total position. So assuming I deposited 0.02, you can actually dictate where my 0.02 is in the one total BTC of the total position. So that's how this privacy works, and it's actually very good. So now let's actually trace this on chain to see how everything looks. Let me do that by actually tracing my deposits here. Okay, looking at this now, check at this sender address. It ends with F7. This is actually the relayer address, and this is our address. So if you're checking it on chain, it's basically like the relayer helps us deposited in the pool. So if you are going to trace it, you have to go back to this overview to actually get the depositor here, which is us here, BBC. So and But when it comes to actually deposited, when we go to the internal cause, you can see where it deposited to the pool. Here is our pool right now. So, and here is the pool, and this is the first deposit, this is the second deposit, and this is the third deposit. And you can see in all this thing, it's still the relayer that it's actually helping us do this. So for every depositor that is actually doing this, it's the relayer. So now with all the deposit done, what is very important is this last deposit, which is the third deposit, because whenever it's complete tree, it is now batched and deposited into the vote. So let's go to the internal cause here. So you can see that immediately the deposit occurred is now transformed, approved, and everything went to vessel. So that's basically it here. And the pool now holds our token yield representation, and or given with the committed the JSON file that we downloaded, this is our notes for withdrawal. So what happens now is that it has basically assigned the position to the depositors of the pool without seeing it on chain. So whenever I want to withdraw with this note, I can actually prove that okay, I have this amount of position in this pool, so kindly help me withdraw it. So, and when we go back to here, you can see here down here it take notes of when I actually deposited. So assuming someone deposited like few days later, it actually takes notes. So this is when the APY are being calculated from. So all they have to do is to be like, okay, you deposited at this particular time, that means your APY should be this, and it will help you withdraw. So now we have actually seen how everything occurs. So now it's actually deposited to the vessel pool for us, and it's actually earning yield. Each of the depositor is actually in earning yield. So now all I have to do is to go to the withdraw page, and as you can see now, sorry, let me. Okay, as you can see now, there is no note for 0.004. So let me go to 0.002. So these are my notes. Is actually dictating from my downloads. These are all my positions. This is what I will use to prove that I actually deposited here, and this like how much I deposited and I need it back. So that's basically what it is. So let me start with this one. All I have is to click it. But now here is where we break the linkage finally. Normally the privacy tends to increase when more and more and more and more are deposited in the pool. You can actually tell who has which position. So, and in order to like break it even more, all you have to do is to provide an address totally different from what you use and deposited, and it breaks that linkage. First of all, the person doesn't even know how much you actually deposited, and if you are taking it out, they can actually link it by time correlation. So but I will be using my wallet here actually just for testing, but in normal case scenario you should be actually using a neat address. So all I have to do is input address. I do a shielded withdrawal. Sorry, pardon me. Okay, so just in the refresh, but you can see all my position here. So I'll start with this. I'll be putting my address and why again? Okay, now it's estimating, is building the microtree and generating the ZK proof. Now it's preparing the core data. Now it's submitting the withdrawal to the layer. Okay, my shielded withdrawal is complete. It should be back anytime soon. Okay, yeah. So we try the second one. Okay, let's refresh so it should check if one of the distance has been spent, one of the nodes. So we should have two here after the refresh. Okay, now it's remaining two. So I will draw the next one. Okay, the second one is complete. Refresh. Okay, now we have one dot remaining, and let's just wrap it up. So basically, the summary of this private lending vote is the relayer helps you deposit into a shielded pool, and once two other deposits comes in, they are batched into three and deposited into the vote so that your position could be lending yield. But one could not actually trace your position from that point. All they see is a batch deposit into that pool, and as time goes, this increase, and no one can actually tell which of position is yours. And once you withdraw your position from a new wallet, the linkage is not there. But I'm actually withdrawing with mine actually. So that's basically it. And me actually testing yield, stables, and swap now will actually make this video longer. So, but they all work in the same mechanism except swap. But I will just be explaining it here so that it will save us more time in this video. So actually yield is using our data. Okay, let me just go to and update you here. So if you come to this private now, basically we have actually treated private lending with BTC collateral, and yield without revealing your position. That's basically what we are doing with in Sentinel 2. We are earning yield without, we can actually tell which one is mine in a normal scenario. So yield is just our delta neutral vote but private. So basically it works the same way as lending. It's just that it has more complex strategy that we have already treated earlier. So the relayer helps you deposit, then once the batch is complete, it is deposited into the pool, and then you can actually withdraw your this anytime. You don't hold any position, you don't hold any tokenized use token. As you can see, when we did it, we didn't get any tokenized use token, or the pool holds it, and when you gives it a proof that you actually have a position there, it gets your this thing and withdraw your position and withdraw. Then okay, that's basically it. Then for stables, we have treated these two now. Then for stables and swap actually works the same way. So for our stables, we use Nostra. Nostra, where you can actually deposit USDC and yield. So all you have to do is shield 10 USDC. The relayer shields this in the pool, give you collects the tokenized yield for the whole batch transactions. Once you want to withdraw, you upload your notes and withdraw. So basically all of them works in the same mechanism. Then for swap, it's kind of unique. It doesn't work like other ones. So how this one actually works is it actually works with the Sentinel pool in lending. So what happens here is that you first shield, the relayer actually shields it on the Sentinel votes, like it sends it to the shielded pool, and the shielded pool actually, once it's complete by 3, it is then deployed to the normal vote in the Sentinel vote, that is deploying your lending your W that wraps Bitcoin to Vesu. And once it's there, once you come to swap, you select which token you want to swap to. If you want to swap to ETH, USDC or starknet, any of them. So once you select and click swap, but we don't have a note already. Assuming we have shielded, the note will appear here just like in our withdrawal. So once we click it, the position on those Sentinel private votes will be withdrawn and swapped back to Ethereum. And once they are swapped down to Ethereum, they are reshielded to another vote that actually holds Ethereum, USDC, or starknet. That way, nobody actually knows what actually happened. All you have to do is upload a note of you holding or that you have actually swapped and shielded any of these tokens. So or you come to withdraw, select the note, put in your address, then withdraw. So that's basically it. So you can see that if we start testing all of them, there will be no time. So and the video will be actually longer. So we'll skip that for now and do the remaining two. So basically we have actually covered the yield vote, everything on the yield vote, everything on the private, everything on the infrastructure. That is just the bridge we treated in the first part of the video. Now here we have actually treated the staking. Now is the dollar cost averaging and CDP. That is basically minting stable coins against BTC collateral, and we'll be starting with CDP. So basically what that is that you deposit your wrapped Bitcoin and you can borrow stable coin for it. So let's say we want to deposit 0.07 at 50%. Okay, no, that should be 0.007. So at 50% LTV, we should be getting $25, but that is for Nostra. The minimum you can borrow is $50. So let's increase the number a bit. Let's go to 9. It's still not up to that. Okay, let's try 0.01. I think I have up to that. Okay. Oh, okay, let's increase our or decrease our. Okay, let me increase it a bit, although it will be a very bad debt actually. So it needs a bigger amount of deposits to actually work. Okay, let me see if I can deposit everything I have. 1.4. Okay, this is okay at 60% LTV, so we can deposit and actually borrow. So all I have to do is approve the transaction. Okay, boom, you can see that my $100 position allows me to borrow like $50 USDC. Okay, let me refresh a bit. So as you can see, this is it. This is my collateral. This is my debt. This is the health. The liquidation should happen at 1 point. See my LTV liquidation, and that's the. Okay, now I pay the debt. Okay. Confirm transaction. Okay, now position has been updated. I cover my BTC. Remainder USDT. And we are now done testing CDP. So let me give this a refresh and my position will be updated. Alright, so everything is complete. I still have a small position from here. So now we are going to test the last feature, which is dollar cost averaging. That will wrap up us building everything suggested in the redefined hackathon. So for this dollar cost averaging, we actually use something called, based on our research, Mayer's principal strategy is the best dollar cost averaging strategy for anyone that wants to do dollar cost averaging. So what this does is that Mayer's multiple is an oscillator that calculates the ratio of the price of Bitcoin to the 200-day moving average to know whether it's very cheap to buy or very expensive to buy, just based on those calculations. So right now, according to the Mayer's multiple right now, the Mayer's multiple is 0.06, and here is how you can actually trace it. So if it's 0.76, that means if it is below 0.08, it's very cheap to buy. So whatever you are buying, you should buy 1.5x of it. So, and this is the value that you use to judge. So now let's test it. So let's say I budget to spend, I have none of these assets. So let me just swap some of my token, let's say like $40 out of it, or let me just 50% of it. Just okay. Now I have some starknet. So let's say I want to spend $10 weekly to buy BTC for 4 orders. That will be me spending $40. You get? So that means 10 times 4 should be $40. Well, given the current Mayer's multiple right now, Bitcoin is very cheap, and we're supposed to buy 1.5x of any of our budget. So if we're actually planning on spending $1, 1.5% is 1.5x actually, sorry for saying percent, is $15. So that means for a 4 order in 4 weeks, we have to spend $60. So I don't even have $60. Let me pause this video and sell so that it could be $60. That is what I will be depositing for this strategy. Okay, then I have up to $60 right now. So all I have to do is create an order, and it's already okay. I have to sign a transaction, and okay, we'll confirm the transaction. Boom, an order has been created on chain because we have a contract running this. So you can view your transaction here, us actually depositing, and here is our active order. So right now 0/6 has actually been executed, so it should be complete in 4 weeks. So upon refresh, you can see one of the transaction has been one of the order has been actually executed. You can see the remainder is $45. We initially have $60. So the one of this week has actually been executed, and it bought at very cheap price, which is using 1.5x. of the Mayors multiple. That is, you're supposed to spend $15 from the $60. So once we get to next week, and probably the Mayors multiple may be, let's say, greater than 8. Okay, let me go that. Greater than 8, maybe within the range of 8 and 1 point, then it will spend like $12.50 in the next transaction. Maybe next week is now 1 point normal, it will now spend $10. So this is basically how it works in 30 weeks. So we have for 4 orders, so this will end in 4 weeks. But I can actually cancel my order. Normally now, after the FX transaction has been done, the postage WBTC was actually sent to my wallet address. We have $60 worth of USDT and $40 worth of WBTC then. So now I can actually cancel and still get back my $50. So let me press cancel. Okay, I still got the transaction pop-up. So yeah, I will get back my $45. I confirm this transaction. Boom, here's our $46 back. If we refresh this order, we actually go. So, and that's basically everything we actually built for the Refine Hackathon. So we actually try out all the recommendation for the Bitcoin tract, and honestly, it was a very exciting experience to see that we can actually build this. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the opportunity to actually build all this. So we actually covered everything on nude votes, private BTC DeFi, private BTC primitive and infrastructure. So, and we expect to actually build and scale this more if we have the opportunity to win. So thank you for watching, and thank you for the opportunity.